5 months ago, the United States launched what many believed would be a short military campaign against Iran. Military analysts predicted that America's overwhelming technological superiority would quickly force Tehran to negotiate. Some expected the conflict to last days, others thought perhaps a few weeks. Instead, here we are, 5 months later. The bombing continues. The world's most important energy shipping lane remains under pressure. Global energy markets have been permanently altered. Saudi Arabia is once again under threat. The Houthis continue attacking shipping. Insurance costs remain elevated. And perhaps most surprisingly, nobody appears to be winning. So today we're going to answer 3 questions. First, why has the United States failed to end this war? Second, how has Iran managed to survive 5 months of sustained pressure? And finally, why could Saudi Arabia become the next major battlefield? Because what is happening today isn't just another Middle East conflict. It may be changing global energy markets for years to come. One of the biggest mistakes made at the beginning of this conflict was assuming military superiority automatically produces political victory. History tells us otherwise. Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq. Military victories do not always translate into strategic success. That appears increasingly true here. The United States has demonstrated overwhelming air superiority. Iran has suffered extensive military damage. Economic sanctions continue to bite. Yet, Iran continues fighting. Its government remains in power. Its regional proxy network remains active, and diplomatic negotiations remain stalled. Instead of a decisive victory, the conflict has entered something much more dangerous, a long war of endurance. Neither side appears capable of achieving everything it wants, yet neither side appears willing to compromise. This is one of the worst outcomes possible, not because the fighting is the most intense, but because uncertainty becomes permanent. Now, if there's one location that explains this entire conflict, it's not Tehran, it's not Washington, it's not even Israel. It's here, the Strait of Hormuz, just a narrow stretch of water separating Iran from Oman. Yet roughly 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil trade normally passes through this corridor. It's also one of the most important routes for LNG exports. Every tanker delayed, every insurance premium increased, every shipping disruption ripples through the global economy. That's why this conflict isn't simply about military operations, it's about confidence. Shipping companies need confidence. Energy traders need confidence. Importing countries need confidence. Without it, costs rise, investment slows, supply chains become less efficient, and over time, the global economy pays the price, even if no missiles are flying that particular day. After 5 months of war, Iran's strategy has changed. Iran knows something important. It doesn't need to defeat the United States militarily. It only needs to make the conflict expensive. Expensive financially, expensive politically, expensive diplomatically. Every additional week of disruption increases pressure. Shipping becomes more expensive. Insurance costs rise. Regional uncertainty continues. Markets begin adapting. This isn't about winning one battle. It's about surviving long enough that your opponent begins questioning whether continuing is worth the cost. That's a very different type of warfare, and history suggests sometimes it works. Moving to the rest of the region, Saudi Arabia is becoming increasingly vulnerable. While everyone watches Iran, another story has been quietly developing: Saudi Arabia. For years, Riyadh has tried to stay outside this conflict. It restored diplomatic relations with Iran. It negotiated with the Houthis. It focused on Vision 2030, building futuristic cities, attracting foreign investment, hosting global sporting events, transforming the economy. But geography doesn't disappear. Saudi Arabia sits between multiple conflict zones: the Red Sea, Yemen, the Gulf. The Houthis continue demonstrating their ability to threaten shipping and energy infrastructure, and every attack sends the same message. The kingdom may not be fighting the war directly, but it cannot escape its consequences. For investors, That's becoming increasingly important. Energy markets have changed forever. Here's something fascinating. 5 years ago, an attack on Saudi energy infrastructure would have caused oil prices to surge. Today, markets barely react. Why? Because traders have adapted. They've learned the difference between temporary disruption and permanent disruption. They've learned to price geopolitical risk differently. Markets now assume there will be attacks. The real question is no longer, will there be another attack? The question is, will one attack actually remove enough production to change the global balance? That is a profound shift. So what do we make of all this? 5 months ago, this looked like another Middle East war. Today, it increasingly looks like something much larger, a contest over economics, shipping, energy, insurance, supply chains, investor confidence. The battlefield is no longer just military bases, it's the global economy itself. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson of this conflict. Wars no longer need decisive victories to reshape the world. Sometimes, simply continuing is enough. The greatest risk today may not be that the war suddenly escalates. It may be that the world gradually accepts this level of instability as normal, and once markets begin pricing instability as permanent, the consequences extend far beyond the Middle East. They affect every country that imports energy, every business that relies on global trade, and every consumer who ultimately pays the bill. If you